So, Christian nationalism, what it is and who's selling it. It's the belief that God not only blessed America, but maybe also co-signed the Constitution. It's theology with a flag pin. Guys like Doug Wilson, Stephen Wolfe, and a few politicians, the kind who think the Sermon on the Mount was actually a campaign rally, are saying America should be officially Christian. Now, rhetorically speaking, that's an ethos move. They're borrowing the credibility of God for political power. Aristotle called that an appeal to character. But let's be honest, if God wanted to endorse a country, he probably wouldn't pick the one still arguing about masks and vaccines. Hi, this is Aspasia Sterling. I'm a media and communication critic with a soft spot for irony and a taste for the absurdities of public speech. The ancients called it rhetoric. Today, we just call it spin, spectacle, and sound bites. I like to pull back the curtain on how messages are crafted, why they stick or backfire, and what that says about power. Think of this as a quick detour through the funhouse mirror where politics and media meet. Buckle up.
I'm Aspasia, spins my thing. Spectacles, sound bites, and media bling.
Let's start with their biggest assumption that God has a huge flowchart with them on top. So their big move is order. God's got an order. Men over women, rulers over people, maybe whites over others. They never quite say it, but boy, they imply it louder than a Southern choir. See, that's logos with a twist. It sounds reasonable. We just want things orderly. But the logic hides a power-hungry ideology. Just listen to Christian nationalist and evangelical pastor Doug Wilson. He once said slavery was orderly and affectionate. Yeah, if affection involves chains, you might want to call a therapist. This is what rhetoricians call God terms. Words that sound sacred but carry policy inside them. The word order becomes divine branding for hierarchy. Next, they appeal to fear, pathos on steroids. Christian nationalists love fear. I mean, every speech is like they're taking our faith, our families, and possibly our Tupperware. Fear's a textbook pathos appeal, and they use it for identity. Burke said rhetoric works by identification. People unite when they share the same fear. So if you can convince folks that immigrants, teachers, and rainbow types are out to destroy civilization, congrats, you've built a movement out of mutual panic. It's brilliant. In a depressing sort of way, a sermon that doubles as a security alert. Then there's the appeal to purity, or a moral bleach for the masses. Purity talk is the moral cousin of fear talk. They say, we've got to cleanse the nation. You ever notice that cleanse is never followed by our hearts anymore? It's always something like the curriculum. This is the rhetoric of scapegoating. Burke again. When a society feels guilty, it purges the guilt by blaming someone, the outsider, the secularist, the foreigner. It's not theology, it's public hygiene. And then there's an appeal to nostalgia, the great American hallucination. They pine for a Christian America where everyone knew their place, which, now that I think about it, is the problem. Since America was revolted against that very thing, a king and church telling them how to live. Here's the thing. Nostalgia is the rhetorical cousin of mythos, which is a story so emotionally convenient, it replaces logos entirely. They want the Garden of Eden with indoor plumbing. It's not memory, it's marketing. As Burke says, every myth needs a villain, so the past gets sainted and the present becomes the fall from grace. Finally, they appeal to authority, or God said so and he's not taking questions. They seal the deal with authority. Obey your leaders, for they are chosen by God. Which sounds fine until your leader is the guy selling apocalypse merch online. This is the authoritarian ethos Michel Foucault warned about, when power wraps itself in holiness so you can't argue back. Once obedience becomes a sacrament, democracy's just a suggestion. In closing, Christian nationalism's secret isn't theology, it's rhetoric. It doesn't convert people, it persuades them. And if you're not persuaded, just wait for the agents to change your mind. At its heart, this brand of nationalism is like so many others. And like them, it takes Aristotle's ethos, pathos, logos, and swaps logos for louder pathos. It preaches divine order while managing the audience like a PR firm. It sanctifies power, racial hierarchy, and nostalgia, all through language that feels holy but works like advertising. And you got to admit, it's clever. They turned love thy neighbor into check his papers first. So if you ask me, the real miracle isn't walking on water. It's convincing millions that Jesus wrote the Federalist Papers. Anyway, when the kingdom of God comes with campaign buttons, I'm out.
Spins my thing. Spectacles, sound bites, and media bling. Pulling back curtains, irony's queen. Where truth wears glitter and lies stay clean. Ha, I'm Aspasia, spins my thing. Spectacles, sound bites, and media bling. Pulling back curtains, irony's queen.